Welcome to the In Case You Missed It Club. This is a place of positivity on the internet, and I genuinely believe that this time. I genuinely believe that. Yes, that we have just had a pre-chat, and I feel very good about what we're going to get out of the next 30 minutes.
We just had a 45-minute pre-chat.
Yeah. It's fine. No one ever needs to know. No one ever needs to know, except I just told them. But anyway, welcoming this week, it's Kwana Jackson, author of Real Men Knit. This is your book. This is totally your book.
I don't know which direction we are, but that's my book.
I don't know. But it's definitely your book. I can also see it behind you, which is very exciting.
I know. Is she fancy or what?
I think so. I think so. I also see something else behind you that I know the people at home can't currently see. There he is. There he is. And I feel like we're going to come to that. I do feel like if people can't see that cushion, we're going to, whoa, hello. Hi. We're going to get to that because we're going to talk about all the things that make us nostalgic and all the things that imprinted on us and made us who we are.
And your book? Do I have it the right way now?
Yes, you do. Like, well done. And nostalgic can be anything now, because when I first started thinking about doing this video series, which was a good few months ago, nostalgic meant like when we were kids, and now nostalgic means like 2 weeks ago when we could like do stuff.
It means being able to go out to the movie. Nostalgic means when we could go out.
Yeah, like the before times. We're just nostalgic for the before times.
Nostalgic is when we used to be able to shake hands. Will we ever?
Remember? No, I mean, there's some
You're like, remember that?
It's just so weird. It's just so weird. But I'm going to ask you a question to get started, and then we're just going to chat, because I feel like this is just going to be very comfortable as a chat. Do you remember, what was the first record you ever owned?
Oh, record I ever owned. I was thinking about that because I've watched some of your other ones and I love them so much. I remember probably owned, it would most likely be Prince. It wasn't a record, it was a cassette.
Okay, that's allowed.
Maybe I was 11 or 12 listening to Erotic City all night. Nice. Prince was my he's my first love and boyfriend crush.
Nice.
So much so. Is that right here? I think it is right here. I will show. I have so many strange things on my floor.
I love
Look at this. This is something that my mother actually picked up and mailed to me.
Oh.
That she got at a church bazaar. She saw it and she was like, oh, Kwana has to have it. So I opened my mail last year. I get a thing and it's this. And I'm like, what? She's like, isn't it great? It's so you. Because she remembers when I had a life-size Prince poster across from my bed in my purple bedroom.
Yes.
This is how much. So I think it was a Prince cassette, which I just played and played and played every single night, listening to lyrics that probably a girl that age shouldn't have listened to. But I was reading things that I shouldn't have been reading at that time anyway.
There you go, exactly.
They made me glam. So most likely it was Prince. But I remember albums before that, looking at Jackson 5 albums.
Mm-hmm.
And just, my grandfather had a recliner, one of those old Lazy Boys leather big thing, so big that my sanctuary was behind the recliner where the albums were on the floor, and I could fit behind there. Can't fit anything behind now. And sort of sitting there and just with my Barbies, playing with my Barbies, or staring at these beautiful album covers, which were art in those days, but staring at the Jackson 5 and staring at young Michael Jackson, which looked very different than Michael Jackson later, but staring all day, like thinking they were just so dreamy. So, yeah.
We are twins. The twinship continues. I have a very, very clear memory of dancing in my brother's bedroom while he played on his Sega Mega Drive to Get Off, and the B-side of Get Off, the Horny Pony. Like just dancing and singing along and being maybe like 11, 12. And my mum walked in the room, took one look at the scene and just turned around and walked out. And I was just like, why is
she's like, I could fight it, but it's just
like,
gonna happen again.
Just let this happen. And I still have the cassette album of Diamond and Pearls, because like I love that record so much.
Oh, I love it so much. I have a lot of Prince on vinyl.
Yeah.
It's so
great.
Heart.
So great.
So great.
So wonderful.
So great. Adore is my favorite of all time, and to this day, it's on my playlist all the time, but I can only listen to it certain days. Certain days I can't because I'll just burst out in tears. Like it'll come on my walking playlist, which that's a thing, a whole other thing, and I just have to skip over it because it's like I can't be sobbing as I walk down the street.
No, it's 2020. There's enough spontaneous crying. Like
there is enough, so people will stop and be like, "What's wrong with me? It's Adore again." So it's like I don't feel like explaining that.
Oh man, yeah, I listen to Diamond and Pearl like more regularly than I anticipated I would, like 25 years.
And how cool were Diamond and Pearl?
So cool.
So
and then one of them went on to be Jenny Calendar on Buffy, which was...
I did not know that.
Yes, it's the most exciting
You'll hate
thing
me,
ever.
but I was not a Buffy girl.
I mean, I'll allow it.
Buffy people don't like stuff like that, but I will admit it. I did not know that.
Will allow it. I feel like there's some unrest in the Buffy world anyway because of the Joss Whedon of it all, which is like, so that's really hurt my Buffydom because my Buffydom was intense. But yeah, Jenny Calendar, who went on to be on a big part of Buffy, was Diamond and or Pearl. I don't know if there was
Diamond and or Pearl, but they were cool. They were cool as all get out. So cool.
Yeah. Oh, so cool.
Prince always had the coolest women with them. Always so
really
darn
did.
cool.
There's a clip,
I go back to Vanity. I go back to Vanity. I mean, I'm older than you. I go back to Vanity 6 and those.
There is a video.
Even before Vanity, before Apollonia, actually.
I'll try to link it. Someone sent it to me recently, but there was a video where he performed. It was at some award show or something, but with Sheena E, and like where she's drumming, and then they switch positions, and he takes up the drums and she sings, and it's so incredible. And I have to try and get and send it, and we'll link it below because it's the coolest thing ever.
He was my first ever concert.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting.
My first ever concert. I remember I was I 12? I think 12. My mother did a lot. 12. My best friend and I, we went and got two Ticketmaster, this odd Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
Underneath the George Washington Bridge, like before you got on the bridge, where no one knew about. And I heard Prince was there. I was like, we gotta go get tickets. Nobody's gonna know. And it's like right where you buy bus tickets, you could go. There was a Ticketmaster. Oh God. And we got tickets to see Prince, and I bought 3, so it would be one for my mother too, so she would actually go for it. And begged her to take us, and then that turned her into a Prince fan too. And we were when I tell you no one knew this Ticketmaster. We were about, I would say, 9th or 10th row.
Jesus! Oh my God! Sorry,
and that was
really
my
excited.
first. Yeah.
Wow.
I will. There are times still, at 50, 51 now. What am I? I'll close my eyes and still remember seeing Prince, doing things to this guitar he shouldn't have been doing. So close to me, and the flower petals falling on me, and it was like a magical dream. It was like okay. Amazing. At that moment, it's like, okay, your life has changed forever, girl.
Yeah, I mean, that's a formative experience to have at 12. That's a pretty great one. I don't think I saw any. I mean, I didn't see a band. I think my first gig that I went to, I was 16 or 17. And they were not good. And at the age of 12, I think the only person I'd seen live, which will mean nothing to you because it's a very British reference, was Timmy Mallet, who was a children's TV presenter.
I do not know.
Don't Google it. Don't look it up. Don't
Now I want to. I must.
He used to hit people in the head with a soft mallet. His name was Timmy Mallet, so his gimmick was that he had a cuddly, like, stuffed mallet. And you play a game called Mallet's Mallet, which I feel like I was going to do the spiel, but like it was a word association game, but it had a whole thing where he would say, it's a word association game, mustn't pause, mustn't hesitate, blah, blah. And if you did, like, you got hit in the head with
hit with the mallet.
Yeah. And he did like a mall tour in the summer, and our mother never let us do anything or go anywhere.
I'd probably go.
You're going to spend a whole day watching episodes of Mallet's Mallet. But my mom took us,
I will.
And then I passed out because I got so excited. I got so excited I passed out in the mall, and then I woke up and we were outside, and I was like, get me back inside, because we never got to do anything. And then the one thing she told us to do, I passed out through the thrill of Timmy Mallet. The shame as an adult, the shame.
And that's so fun. Fun.
But it's not Prince, is it? It's not Ninth Row.
And that's okay. That is okay.
Okay. It's not, but it's okay. I'll let it go.
It's fine.
That does lead me on to my next question, which is about your first crush. So if Prince was your first crush, Who were the more significant crushes who came to follow? I'm assuming Mr. Cushion might be involved, Mr. Pillowcase.
He is a crush. He is a huge crush. And, there's a lot. I have a lot of crushes. He's such a huge crush. And getting like to be more and more so.
Oh, Keanu, you handsome boy. You handsome, talented man. Oh, look at his little face. Hey.
His little face. Getting to be more and more so every day. It's so funny how this, well, for people who don't know, I'm not nowhere near leaving the real men world. I'm right in the middle of it. But strangely enough, because I'm always spouting my mouth off with whatever on Twitter, there was a tweet that came along last November or December that said, which is not happening now because, look at where we are, Corona and everything, that the next Matrix and the next John Wick will be coming out the same day. And it would be like this whole crazy Keanu day. And I saw it and I was like, note to self, don't bring out your book on Keanu Day because nobody's going to be paying attention to it. But of course, I'm thinking it, I'm tweeting it. And I tweet it. And it's like, and then I said, in case it's that, How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Day book. And then right after I hit send, I was like, wait a minute, that sounds like a great book. I should really write that. And people are like, yeah, you should really write that. And I was like, my agent's going to kill me because he's always like, shut the heck up with these great ideas you have because you always just like, here's an idea. Bleh. And so I had to write, and I was like, I think I may have done something and I think it might be a good idea. And I think it sounds fun. Like I might want to really write that. And I got on the phone with one of my best friends for 20-something years, and we're very much the same, but she's very different. She's a family law attorney. She works with these like really hard cases and stuff like that. And so I was like, yeah, I probably did something. She's also my like on the road gambling buddy, which is kind of funny.
That feels like a whole nother conversation.
It's a whole nother thing. She and I are like road buddies, gamble buddies. It's the best. And I was like, and she's my attorney. I'm like, see my attorney, also my drinking buddy, also my gambling buddy. We'll have to write that book.
She sounds like a keeper.
So I was like, what do you think of this? And she was like, Keanu, who doesn't love Keanu? I'm like, right, who doesn't? And I didn't know she loved Keanu too. She's like, we all love Keanu. Who doesn't love Keanu?
He is like he's one of those people that there's a really tiny percentage of celebrities that I think just everyone universally adores them, and
everyone.
It just defies any sort of classification or expectation. I think he is
doesn't
one.
Matter.
I think to an extent, I think Channing Tatum is one that's so interesting because like does respect. I think
Chris Evans falls into that category. Chris Evans is getting, there very much into that category. If he keeps up this loveliness, he probably will definitely be there.
Right. People find him attractive, but also people respect him. Also, it's like they can just do no wrong. It's like everyone of all ages, whatever, just everyone loves them. And I'm like, what have you got to do? It's like
what do you have to do?
That's what you got to do.
I'm like, listen, my dream is to meet Keanu with this book and just be like, like, can we just sit and chat over coffee for a minute about I don't know, but just about
you chat
stuff. Just whatever, have these. I said, it would be me, Keanu, and my K-pop crush having these enlightenment coffees. I'm going to call them enlightenments.
Nice.
And
nice.
And my other friend was like, "Is that what you're going to call them? Really?"
That's what we're calling it these days. That's what
we're calling it. We're calling it enlightenments. I was like, yes, that's what I'm calling them. But it's so funny. But it just spans. I called my mother up and tell her the idea. It's like anytime, like my mother lives on Law and Order, like murder shows.
Nice.
Whatever.
I'm an SVU gal, so I get it.
She loves SV, but she loves every single franchise.
All of them.
But you call her, I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, I'm watching the Netflix. It's the Netflix. I'm watching the Netflix. And, I was just watching John Wick. I was just watching another one. Keanu can do no wrong. So she was just like, I get it. So my mother, my friends, everybody it's Keanu. And then I said it to my daughter, a whole nother generation. She's like, what, Keanu? Oh, he's so hot. He's so
hot.
I'm like,
When did it happen? It's so strange. I mean, I'm totally behind it. I
He's not always
absolutely
a good guy.
applaud it.
He's a good guy,
No,
but not always perfect.
he's
I
not
mean, he's
always.
killed a lot of people in movies.
Like, he's not always that good at what he's doing. But it's
No,
it doesn't.
not always.
I remember
But
when
the
it was like
charm
a
is
running
so
joke
much.
that he was so bad. Like when I was coming up through
Yeah,
my 20s, it was the running joke that he was just like stoner idiot. And like
like
Point
he was
Break, when
just
he'd be
this.
like, "Oh, we're gonna surf," and it's like, no, he's now everyone loves Point Break, but there was a moment
Everyone
when
loves
everyone made fun of
Everyone
Point
loves
Break
Point Break. It
and
was, oh, he's
Speed.
so bad, and oh, this and that. But it's like there's just something that just comes through. That this, I think there's an
Yeah, there's an
authenticity. I
authenticity
can't
there.
get the word authenticity
Yeah,
that comes through, like from his heart, or something.
yeah,
Something about his heart just sort of shines through, even if it's not that great. I watched. What did I watch? Because I've just been watching. When one can't write, one watches
yep.
a Keanu movie for inspiration. So I recently watched all of the John Wicks again recently, and I was like, that was awesome. And I said, that's research. My husband's like,
Nice.
are you
Oh, yeah,
getting words in?
absolutely.
I was like, I'm researching up
Yeah.
here. It's
We're
like John
always
Wick on
writing
repeat.
whether words are coming out or not, husband.
That's
I use
right.
that I use that a lot because I'll just be sat staring at my phone for 4 hours and Jeff will be like, thought you were working today. Like, I think you'll find out. I think you'll find
You'll
out this
find out
is working.
I am
And this is
working,
working. All the
absolutely
time. All the
working.
time.
It's like,
Oh,
oh, and what was it? Siberia. I watched.
oh
Maybe not the best, but you know what?
no.
There was there
There
were
was a
some parts
fallow
that were very
period.
important. Hmm?
Yeah. There was a
Have
fallow
you seen that
period.
one?
I haven't seen that one. I saw Constantine like a bunch of
Worth it
times.
for the sexy scene. You might have
Oh,
seen the
okay.
sexy scene on Twitter, gifs of it.
Was it on your Twitter? Did I see it on
No,
your
it
Twitter?
wasn't. I don't think I retweeted it. I don't know, but it was all. Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah,
Okay, I will check it
he's
out.
he's oh, and I watched
Lovely.
what was it, the wedding, is it the wedding, Destination Wedding, actually
Destination Wedding.
was
The
really
Winona
fun.
Ryder one. Yes, that's the net. That is on the Netflix. That one is
That
on
is on the
the
Netflix. We're gonna, you see, you'll start
Netflix.
calling it the Netflix too. That's
I
on the
will. I'm
Netflix.
so suggestible.
That's one that I had not seen, and I was shocked by it. I was shocked by how funny that was.
Yeah,
The older he gets, the funnier he
I know. Did you see him in
he's
Always
gotten.
Be My
He's
Baby? Did you see his cameo?
loved it so
So
much.
great.
Oh my
So
goodness,
great. He's
I
so funny.
loved it. It's like he makes fun of himself, and with Destination Wedding, the funny part about that is it took me a while to like get it. It took me like a whole third of the movie to get it.
Yeah.
No one talks in that whole movie but he and Winona Ryder.
Oh,
The whole
that sounds
movie.
okay to me. Maybe that could just be our rule for 2021. No one speaks
I
but
think I was like,
Winona
they
Ryder.
filmed this before, but it's very Corona-ish.
Yeah.
It's like there are extras, there are things going on, extras and things like that, but the whole movie is just them and their dialogue
Yeah.
and their banter at this wedding. But you really don't, you see the other characters, but it's just, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool the
Yeah.
way it was filmed and the whole kind of thing.
And that's not easy to hold a whole movie, to command an entire movie, just the two of them.
they sure did. They really
Yay.
did, and it was great. So it's like, so yeah, so I'm all about this, How to Marry Keanu Reeves in
I
90
know,
days.
now
Wish
I'm
me luck.
very excited.
It's due in 5 minutes.
Let's stop this immediately so you can get back to work. I want to
But
read
you
this
know what,
book.
I'm excited to be in a whole about Keanu. Is just so much fun. He's another crush, and then there's Idris Elba,
Oh, well, I
another
mean, that seems
another
entirely
heartbreaker.
reasonable. I
Mm,
know. I mean, stop getting married. Stop getting married, Idris. That was very
what's up with
cruel.
that?
We weren't ready for that. Like, if I'd known that 2020 was going to be 2020, I would have gone back last year and been like, maybe don't do this. Maybe wait,
Seriously.
because you've really made it difficult for us.
What I really shouldn't probably be married 30 years, but these people should stay single.
I just think it's for the best of all of us. I really do. It's like, I mean, I was a big Brad Pitt girl when I was a teenager. I remember going to the movies to see Sleepers, possibly before I should have been maybe seeing Sleepers at the movies. I feel like
This
it
is a
was not.
trend with romance novelists.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading Virginia Andrews when I was very, very young. Barbara Taylor Bradford, all those, because my mom was just happier if I had a book in front of me because it was just easier for her. But now I'm like,
It's like,
maybe some of
she's
those books
happy,
weren't
she's
right.
quiet, she's
Yeah,
not bothering me.
and I'm just like, but it was, that seems reasonable. But yeah, I saw Sleepers in the movies and just not a nice film, but fell in love with Brad Pitt. Was just like, he's so beautiful and he has the beautiful blonde hair and the beautiful eyes and he's so lovely. And then yesterday, someone
He
has to
is
tell me
beautiful.
that he's now dating a 27-year-old. And I'm like, why though? And maybe she's awesome and great and a great conversationalist, the 27-year-old German model. But like, Bradley, it's 2020. Yeah, we needed the dream of you and Jen getting back together. We needed it. We knew it wasn't going to happen, but you touched her arm in one split second. That's
you passed her, and you nodded.
You passed her in a room, and someone took a photo, and we needed that this year. We didn't even know then how much we needed it. Yeah, I'm like, stop letting us down, people. Stop doing this.
The older I get, the more I can't diss him and the 27-year-old, since I have this K-pop obsession now.
I mean, fair,
I've turned into that lady. So now I'm sort of like, how am I judging people?
I know, and I shouldn't judge. I should never judge.
It's like I judge.
I'm jealous. Like that seems.
Yeah, I can be jealous. I'm terribly jealous of whoever, because I'm also jealous when Keanu went public with his relationship. Everyone's like, "That's so great," and she's an appropriate age, and this and that. I'm like, she is not me. You don't understand the problem here.
Yeah,
she's not me. She could be saving
my jealousy is
every whale, coming up with cures, and the appropriate age. She's still not me. So here we have the problem.
This is the issue. Appropriate age is a difficult one, because it's like, who is to say what an appropriate? Maybe Brad is like very young at heart and really feels a connection and a kinship with a younger human.
Or very good looking and very rich.
Maybe he's extremely good looking, extremely rich, and just like really
rich,
like the look of this model. But also, like, if they're happy, and like good luck to them. But yeah, my jealousy has dressed itself up as judgment, because the reality is, I like, you live down the road. It's just rude, actually. You live within like 10 minutes drive of me in LA, and like, it's rude. It's rude that you haven't come.
It is rude.
You could have come to my house before I got married last year, and you could have said,
you could have,
look, can I, take you out for dinner? And I would have said, I'm probably still going to get married.
Listen, a coffee. Can we?
Just a coffee.
Anything.
Just a coffee. There's like a great little Indian place around the corner. We could have just popped around there and grabbed some lunch. I mean,
I think it would have been
very selfish.
It's
fine.
The problem is they don't get out enough. They don't get out enough in the real world.
That's true.
Where we get out to. Why are they hanging at all these model, cool, expensive places?
This is true. What they need.
They need to start really expanding their horizons a little more, or letting us regular folk in.
I could have picked him up in my Fiat 500. I could have picked him up in my 5-year-old Fiat 500 and run him to the mall. We could have gone to the Galleria and checked out Target. We could have done some of my favorite things that I bet he never gets to do.
Hit up the Applebee's.
Right? Oh, boneless chicken wings. We could have had a really good time, and he's denied himself that.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm. And that's fine. What are the first?
You're like, and that's fine. And we're both like, no, it's not.
I'm like, change the subject before I cry. What were the first movies that you remember? What are the first movies you remember really loving?
Oh gosh. I don't know. First movies that come to mind, though, that I love and still love and will always watch are, I love Mahogany, Diana Ross's Mahogany, where she's like, that one I always love and go back to. Like, I'm a huge Diana fan, and I think like the things that had like the most influence on me, like that one really did, because she was so gorgeous and glamorous and had these humble beginnings and these big dreams to be a designer, which I wanted to do and did do for a while, though nowhere near as fancy.
But you did it.
And she did, but I did it, if you want to call it, but I did it. But, to see her do that, and the fashions were there, and everything was just gorgeous. It was Diana, and it was Billie D, and it was Bat Boo. I forgot that we were recording. I thought we were just talking.
No, we're loud. Everyone watching this is like, why hasn't there been more swearing? It's fine.
I'm like, that crazy Anthony Perkins. And, I kind of love Crazy Men a little bit. He was Psycho Anthony Perkins was another crush on mine.
Interesting. That is an interesting one.
Goofy, like in an odd way. I like, like the sort of goofy, slightly a little off center guys like Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, I saw him in an airport in February. The last time I was in an airport, I was in Burbank. I went to Vegas for a couple
Was
of
that
days with my
pre-wedding?
friends.
Was that pre-wedding or
No,
after-wedding?
no, post.
You're seeing,
So angry.
Jeff's gonna be like, you know what? You can never hang out with Kwana in person. Obviously, we see now that you can only be virtual friends with her. Because she's married but a bad influence.
Well,
You'll end up having an affair.
we didn't get married until I was 38, so like I had a lot of time to adjust to being single, and now you expect me to change my ways. I think it's him with the unrealistic expectation. I really don't think it's you and I that are the problem. I mean, he knew what he married.
My problem is I got married at 20 and I'm going on my 30-year anniversary, and my husband's like, why does your browser look like this?
Because life. So I mean, I don't.
Because you know what? I'm just looking around, sir.
It's not a problem to look. It was nearly a problem when I saw him walking towards me and I nearly fell over, because I live in LA, so you do occasionally see peoples that you recognize, and I'm terrible. Like, I'm always staring at them being like, why do I know you? Why do I know you? Do I know you from my friend's house? I don't want to be rude and not say hello if we've met before, and then they've got too close and I'm about to say hello, and then they look at and you're like, oh no,
I can't say hello.
Horribly
fanning out.
And I've done it twice where I did just say hello because they were so close and I was staring at them for so long, and then I realized
were you like, hey, good to see you, and it's Madonna.
Yeah, it was the one time it was Kieran Culkin. And I was like, because I think I just watched Igby go down. I don't know why, but I was like, I know that guy. I know that guy. I know that guy. Oh my God, he's looking back. Don't be rude. You have to say hi now.
Like, I know that guy. Did you give me coffee?
I know. And he was so polite. He was like, hey, what's up? Because it must happen to him all the time. And I was just like,
You're like, embarrassing.
And then the second time was so embarrassing because it was Elizabeth Reese from Twilight. It was Esme. And we just kept crossing each other in the grocery store aisle, and she kept looking at me and I kept looking at her, and I'm like, I definitely know her, and this is so rude. I'm gonna say hi. And I said hi, and she was just like, ugh. And then I realized as soon as I said it, and then I saw.
What'd you say though? What did you say after you got the...
She just went like and walked away, because I was like, oh hi, like opening it up to be like.
And then you were like,
she gave me the big sigh. And
she didn't have to do that. She
could have just been like, hi, and kept walking. Like Kieran Culkin was like, hey, what's up? Because he knew what was happening.
Right.
Must happen.
We're standing her.
Yeah, she was bad. And then I ran into her again twice the following week, once in front of my house.
So now she's thinking you're a stalker.
Gave me the look, and I'm like, you're in front of my house.
You're in front of my house. Like, listen, Missy. Like, excuse me, stop stalking me, Esme.
I know, right? I'm like, it's daytime, so thank goodness. But yeah, and the second time was at the reservoir, which was right around the corner from my old apartment. So I'm like, again, you're at my place.
So you know what? She's officially stalking you and trying to make a bigger name for herself.
It was so embarrassing. It was so awful. So when I saw Jeff Goldblum walking towards me at the airport, I just stopped breathing. I just was like, but he's so tall and he's so handsome, and he had his little hat on, little backpack, and he was just sort of like bobbing along. He wasn't in like VIP or anything. Was just hanging out on his own.
That would be like, I saw my most recent, which was still a long time. I don't see that. Well, I don't get out much, so then who am I going to see? I don't leave my house. I'm like not the biggest people person.
When only Elizabeth Reese will come to your house. Like it's
it's like, please just come to my house. It's like my dream is like, to have like, I used to dream when walking the dog. It's like, if only Idris Elba could drive by and ask for directions, life would be perfect today.
Stranger things
that would be the dream, because it's like, where am I going besides this one block?
I ran into Joe Jonas
to have a K-pop group move in next door.
I mean, that's connected. I ran into Joe Jonas at like the top of a subway station in New York, and like it was Allen Street, I think. I was going in and he was coming out, and he ran straight into me. And I was like, if this were a rom-com.
Never happens to me. I did run into, when I was younger, oh God. That's the worst thing you'll hear me say this week. Oh, Jesus help me. When I was younger, I ran into this, who was it? What did he used to sing? Was it Wishing Well? Was it Terrence? No, was it Wishing
Terrence
Well?
Trent D'Arby, he did
Was
sing.
it Terrence Trent D'Arby? Maybe it was. No, it wasn't Terrence Trent D'Arby. It was
Oh.
the other guy that looked like Terrence. It'll come to me. And I ran into him down right off of A Street, right on 6th Avenue, 6th Avenue and A Street, maybe 4th Street by the movie theater. He was still wearing the hat. Who the hell? What song was that? He was very nice. But I must have been about 15 because I was in high school, 14 or 15. I used to go to, I went to Stuyvesant before it was over by Battery Park City. My school was on 15th Street and 1st Avenue. So I spent a lot of time around like St. Mark's Place and 8th Street and things like that, after school hanging out and like a village kid. And I remember there was a guy in a movie. He might have been in Beach Street as an extra. He was in some indie film. I don't remember the film. I want to say maybe it was Beach Street or some other indie movie, and maybe he was in a Lisa video or something. This guy, what was his? Now you're gonna make me look it up, and I'm gonna write to you and find this guy. He was gorgeous. He was this hot, like model actor guy at the time, and he was such a huge crush. And suddenly there he was, just walking down the street. I'll never forget it, down on 6th Avenue at night, and I was just like, just mesmerized. I don't know what I said to him. It was something, because I was just this crazy girl like that. And my husband will tell you, I was that girl for me at the first. And it was just like, oh, and I was like, you're just fantastic or something. And my friends were like, hitting me like, I can't believe you did that. I was like, oh yeah, I did.
Well, but I think it's like, as long as you're polite and as long as you're just being kind, I can't imagine not wanting to have someone come say, hey, I just want to say, like, I really love what you do, or
I couldn't help it. Like, I was just like, not just grace, but I just had to say like, and I forget who that was. What was that song? I used to love it. But my most recent was Chris Jackson. I saw Chris Jackson after Hamilton, just walking, coming out, and I was gushing over how much I loved him, and I had gotten his autograph with the people like, here, sign my book. And I'm with Farrah Rashan, who I love. Farrah was my first Hamilton experience, and she had seen me before. And we saw it, and I was just like, oh, I was just going crazy. And we're walking back towards 8th Avenue, just walking. It's late, it's quiet. Over by a pillar, there's a guy. Tall, this and that. I look, it's Chris Jackson. My knees don't go weak often. They like started to buckle. I was like, and I just said something like, you're amazing. My voice quivered, and he was like, thank you so much. But after that, I recounted that experience on Twitter, and he started following me on Twitter.
Oh, that's so nice. Oh, what a nice man.
What a nice man. I was like, I love Chris Jackson so much. And he was like, thank you. And I was like,
but that's nice. I do think there's a gracious way to deal with it. Like, it must be really hard these days to be a celeb and to have people just waving cell phones at you, and like that must be really difficult. But I just think, like, for most people, I feel like you can just walk around and people won't bother you. Maybe that's because I am genetically wired to not bother people, because I'm very English and afraid of all things. But like,
yes, I understand that. Right? I'm a New Yorker and afraid of all things. So you would hope people would be nice and not be like, I love New York. You jerk.
No one bothered me ever. Like, it was like I can just go about my day without talking to anyone. And it's great. But yeah, I just think it must be nice for them sometimes to have someone say like, oh my God, I love what you do. Because I would like if someone said, oh my God, I love what you do. Right?
I know. People are quick to say the bad things.
I just get people.
It's like someone says something nice, every once in a blue moon, I'll get something. Somebody says, I know you get this so often, but I thought your book was great. I was like, and I'm like, thank you so much. And no, I don't get that often.
No, I get that. A lot of my messages start with like, I know you've had 10 of these a day or 100 of these a day. And I'm like, no, I haven't. So thank you.
No, thank you very much. You've made my week. You've made my month. I really appreciate that. It's
so kind. Let's be nicer to each other. Let's all do this wild thing where we say nice things to each other.
where we say nice things instead of I wanted to like it, but
yeah, 3 stars. There were many typos. So, like, I'm trying.
I did try. I'm
Oh, dear.
sorry.
I am going to ask you one more question, because I just feel like this is going to be potentially
Oh,
a long one.
potentially
But
3 hours long. I'm sorry.
this is going to be
People,
a
it's my
difficult
fault
question.
if this is the longest,
This is a
most
gift.
ridiculous
This is a
interview
gift.
Lindsey has ever done. I'm sorry.
This is the greatest gift. You've turned my day around, so thank you. But
Oh,
I
well,
would love
thank
to
you. You've
know.
turned my day around, and you know what? I'm feeling energized right
Look at
now,
us.
so I'm feeling
Yay.
much, much better.
Oh, that makes
Yay.
me happy. I want to know, what was your favorite childhood book?
Favorite childhood book. I should have been prepared, right?
No, because it's so hard. That's a really difficult one because mine changes
That is
every
very
day.
hard. I
Mine would
don't know
change
if I
every
can
day.
pick a favorite. I can say I remember reading over and over again, Little Women,
Hmm.
and I remember enjoying Little Women a lot, but I'm wondering what it was that I enjoyed so much. I would go to my school library, and I think I enjoyed the story very much, but I also remember
Yeah.
being this particular edition having beautiful illustrations.
Yeah.
And I would go to the same spot and we used to have library sessions at the time, and wanting to look at those illustrations over and over again and being
Yeah.
fascinated by it. So that is one book that I love. I loved as a kid. I loved the story, but I also loved that particular book and that particular memory with that book
Yeah.
and that time period. Maybe I didn't like
It's so
that school
funny
so
because
much.
I was the same. I loved Little Women, but I specifically loved an audio version of it that I would get out from my library.
Isn't
And
that
now,
funny?
as an adult, I realize it's because I was getting ASMR. Because I get ASMR, and
Ah,
that voice would just send me to sleep, and I would get tingles, and I would lay and listen to the cassette when I was going to bed, and I would
I
get it
think
out
that's
all the
it.
time. I was
So
obsessed
you
with it.
have this sort of sensory memory
Yeah.
attached to it. And I
Yeah.
think I have a sensory memory attached, a memory attached to that of being sitting on the floor of our school library. And I didn't like that particular time in my life or that time class or anything, but I did like that one time period in school of going to the library, being around those books and getting that particular book out every time and looking at
Yeah.
it. It was comforting to me.
Isn't that
And
weird?
so
I feel like we've
I
just
get that.
like given Little Women like the worst backhanded compliment. But I'm
No,
like,
and it's
it's
not. I
great,
mean,
and
it's
I'm sure
lovely
I
and
know
it's
lots of
beautiful, and
people.
I still, like it, but it's not that. But I did love.
Yeah,
Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I
me
thought that book was just
too.
sort of like, oh, I
Oh,
loved it so much.
yeah,
Trudy Bloom, Do No Wrong. So
I know.
that book I can say wholeheartedly, it was scandalous. It was fantastic. It was like, are you going to get it? Are you going to read it? And when I did, it didn't disappoint, and
Yeah.
it was just that was everything to me.
Did
So
did
yeah.
Forever do the rounds with you? Did
Forever did.
Forever?
Yes, and
Yeah.
forever. Yes, it was Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, and Forever. I remember both. Yes,
Oh, I
absolutely.
remember when Forever did the rounds in our
Yes.
school, and it was very much like
It was very much like, here you
it's like
go.
just open it,
Pass it
I'd like
around like a note. Are you getting it? Are you
yeah.
reading it?
It's
Yes,
like you
very
named
much.
his penis Ralph, and now as an adult, I'm like, no. Like maybe
Yeah.
they need someone. Maybe the kids of today need a new version where no one names their penis. But
My husband and I were just talking about that strangely last night. And we don't have
oh,
those conversations, not about naming his penis, but watching one of the 90 Day Fiancés. Was it 90 Day
yeah,
Fiancés or
there are
one of
so
those?
many
Because I
now.
love them
Yeah,
all. But we were watching one, and there's a guy with one of the women, and she's talking about getting breast implants, and they're going to the doctor and this and that, and he's saying every name in the world for a breast that are not breasts. He said cannons, knockers, all these ridiculous things, and I'm like, what the heck? I was like, what? I was like, he said cannons. Who says cannons? My husband goes,
cannons for
cannons. I said,
doctors.
never say the word again. Ow, my ears hurt now. I was like, cannons. And then he said, "Don't repeat it." I said, if I
Oh,
said your penis is a rod or this and my husband like crossed his legs. He's like, ugh. I was like, you can't say
no.
breast, penis, this and that, vagina.
No,
Like, say
if
the
you
word.
can't say it, you don't get to play with it. Like
Seriously.
that's the
I was
rule.
like, just say breast already. My husband was like, we were laughing because he was like, I don't understand
They're
this
not
guy. We
cannon
were like, and
implants.
he's so young. Why is he saying cannons and knockers? We don't get this. He's like, she's got some great cannons. And I like to have fallen off the couch. And we were both like horrified at this.
That's
We
so
were like,
upsetting.
ew.
That's not
He's like,
okay.
It's not okay at all. I was like, can you call a thing what a thing is?
No. And maybe he read a lot of very old-fashioned romance novels when we referred to things with different.
I don't think I've ever read canons.
I
think he must have been reading old detective novels, but they had old-fashioned detective novels.
Blasted me with like canons.
Trixie had a great pair of.
Oh yeah, maybe it's some like horrifying noir, like pulp.
Maybe
pulpy
pulp noir or something, or meant to be ironic. I don't know what this guy is doing, but I was like, I was like, I don't know how much more I can take of this one guy because he's killing me with this. So we're trying to think of all odd words for body parts, and I couldn't even. I'm the writer there, but I couldn't go further. I was like, give me time. I'm gonna think of some really good stuff. And my husband was like, please don't. Please stop.
Like I have to go to work. Please don't do that when I come home. See, that would be me. I would literally be sat on the doorstep with like, guess what? Here's my list of words that you asked me not to come up with.
Here's my list of penis words. Let's do it and go. It's like suddenly we're playing, I don't know, the word game. Let's go now.
No, mallet, but for penis words. This would be a dream come true. Really, I'm not convinced we didn't do
New party game.
But don't pause or hesitate. You get hit in the head with the mallet. So like that's the rule. Them's the rules.
That's the rule.
Thank you so much. This has been amazing.
This has been so much fun.
This has been too much fun. Let's call it what it was. For anyone looking for you on social media, where can they find you?
We didn't even. Can I just discuss all the stuff I had to talk about for your book?
You made a board.
I made a board of how much I loved in case you missed it and we didn't talk about it. Okay, everybody, get in case you missed it. I loved it. It was fantastic.
You were very
so
kind.
Much so, I made a board to say how much I loved it and how I related to so many parts of it. And I related to the parents because I'm old, maybe too much. And I was going to talk about how I'm an empty nester and related to the parents. It was a whole thing.
Oh, thank you. Well, and I'm going to talk about how incredible Real Men Knit is, which was just so delightful. Made me so homesick for New York. Really made me want to take up knitting and be single. Because like,
no, Jeff, that's not Jeff. Please don't listen to any of this. That's not my fault. And she wants to be married 31 years and do penisless like me.
Yes, that's true. Could there be a fantasy world where you're married to Keanu and I just get to go and hang out in strong knits? Would that be?
You can do like me. You can, yes. Well, that fantasy world is fine. Or we can do my fantasy: stay married, keep your medical benefits, do enlightenments. We'll do enlightenments with Keanu.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll do enlightenments with fictional characters who I am smitten with. But you can
enlightenments keep the lights on.
I do need the health insurance. Anyone in the UK watching this is like, what? And I'm like, you don't know.
You don't know. I'm just saying.
But what you do know is that you should read this book. So I will link to it below, and we can find you on social media where?
Kwana Writes, KWANAWRITES, which is pretty easy because that's my Twitter and my Instagram, and that's usually where you can find me.
Amazing.
Unfortunately, not when I'm not writing. That's where I'm writing.
Well, and now we need you to go over and write about Keanu. So
I'm going to write about Keanu, and then because hopefully, and if you read Real Men Knit, the next book is Lucas's book, The Firefighter.
Oh, that will be nice. Who doesn't love a firefighter book? Okay, we're into that. So we'll look out for that 2021?
2021, summer of 2021. I just turned it in.
Yay! Congratulations, you, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much.